Oh, this certainly is the day that love has made. Love has made this day. Love woke each one of us up this morning and brought us here to experience more love. Are you with me? Yes. All right. So, it's an interesting time, isn't it? And you know, tomorrow is actually Columbus Day. Well, there is an idea of replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. Yep. And actually, Indigenous Peoples Day was born in 1977 at a UN-sponsored conference in Geneva, Switzerland, on discrimination against Indigenous peoples in the Americas. And 14 years later, activists in Berkeley, California, go Berkeley, convinced the Berkeley City Council to declare October 12th a day of solidarity with Indigenous people. And as a result of their determination, God bless the activists, there has been a growing movement to replace Columbus Day, and to date, 8 states and 130 cities and towns have officially renamed the federal holiday, and Portland is one of them. So love this place. So happy Indigenous Peoples Day. My talk this morning is called The Ground We Walk, and this really is a metaphor for how we live our lives. So in honoring and celebrating the Indigenous spirituality that we're going to bring in today, I wanted to begin with sharing with you a Lakota prayer that I love. Wakantanka, Great Spirit, Great Mystery, teach me how to trust my heart, my mind, my intuition, my inner knowing, the senses of my body, the blessings of my spirit. Teach me, O Great Spirit, to trust these things so that I may enter my sacred space and love beyond fear, and thus walk in balance with the passing of each glorious sun. So I want to start with the piece in this extraordinary prayer that goes, teach me how to trust my heart, my mind, my intuition, my inner knowing, the senses of my body, the blessings of my spirit. So in order to pursue living a fully engaged spiritual life, which is why I would venture to assume that we have all gathered here, other than the tasty cookies downstairs, to live a life of spirit of God and to fully trust our heart or our inner knowing, our mind, our body temple, as that Lakota prayer so beautifully speaks about, we have an opportunity to come to a deep agreement that divine wisdom is within us and available to us if we turn to it and, dun, 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 trust it. If we trust it. Now, just as indigenous cultures from around the world taught the importance of being present to the rhythm of Mother Earth, they have also taught the importance of trusting the rhythm of our inner knower. Intuition, which is also referred in our New Thought circles as God, our God voice, right? That inner knower, that inner teacher. But how do we do that? So what is something that we could do that is practical, that we can do on a daily basis to live a more intuitive, spirit-centered, or guided life? So the yogic teacher Mira Alfassa, also known as the Mother, said, it seems that one can truly understand only when one understands with the body. So this concept of spirit within us, it's taught across religious traditions. And in New Thought, because we believe that we co-create with the divine, we subscribe to the idea that the wisdom, our inner wisdom, is the wisdom of our soul, that it is actually love living and breathing through us. As I said earlier, it is love itself that woke us up this morning and brought us here. It is love that is sitting to our left and to our right, in front of us and behind us. This is love. This is love, and this lives at the center of each one of us. It is guiding us. It is guiding us. Some people call it energy or source, whatever word you're comfortable with. The thing to recognize and really embrace and know is that this source is guiding us and giving us feedback about every option that comes up if we're awake to it. So whether it is to turn left or right, whether it is to slow down on the road, whether you should, despite what the weather report says, bring your umbrella. For those watching online, here in Portland, we do not carry umbrellas. It makes no sense, but we work to keep Portland weird. So that's how we do things here. It makes no sense. I just need to say that. But the thing is, though, my point is that we are constantly being guided. And once you master this skill set, you realize that you truly are never alone, because we are always being guided. This is true of the big life stuff, and this is true of the really small, seemingly minute life stuff, that inner nudge that says bring an extra snack, or leave 15 minutes early today, or take a certain job, or go on that date, or don't go on that date, or call that doctor because of that thing. When we are listening and responding to the gentle, divine nudges within us, it sets us up for greater ease in our life. Are you ready for some more ease in your life? Okay. So here is how that works. Our body temple is a key to unlimited, direct, loving guidance. But seriously, friends, how many times do we ignore the signals of our body temple? We get a feeling to do something and we ignore it. Well, I want to just sort of shine some light on that, because sometimes it's that we're not paying attention. Sometimes it's that we have resistance. And there may be some of us here who, for a variety of different reasons, may have actually cut off that kind of nuanced communication from our body temple. And if you fall into that particular category, I invite you to just gently proceed with me as we explore this idea. So, our body temple, while complex in its brilliance, it has a clear language with two very strong signals of communication. And those strong signals of communication are yes and no. And the way that you can recognize the message is through these two distinct feelings within your body. And they are expansion, which is yes, or contraction, which is no. Are you following me? Here's what that looks like. When you are faced with a choice of possible action to take, let's say it's a spot-on, wonderful thing, or if it's safe, if it uplifts you, if it supports you, you will feel a sense of expansion in your body temple if you tune into it. Some of us get kind of a warm, pleasant feeling. Some of us get a burst of energy or kind of a bubbling enthusiasm. Some of us get goosebumps. I call them God bumps. Or for some, it can actually feel kind of like a click. Sort of like when you go to the chiropractor and you get an adjustment, and it just makes you go, oh, phew, because everything went into alignment. Sometimes when something is wanting to come into your life or through your life, if you have that click feeling, that it's in place, and you're instantly sort of realigned, that can be your expansion as well. And these are just some examples. We all experience it differently. But the thing is the body wisdom knows with a capital K, right? And Rumi said, don't question enthusiasm. I think this is connected to that. When we feel enthusiasm in our body about anything, it is our divine inner wisdom saying, yes, go for it, honey. This is good. This is good. Now, on the contrary, when you are faced with a choice or a possible action that does not necessarily serve your best, or maybe it has to do with safety, or it doesn't make you feel uplifted, the ways in which the body temple, the ways in which the body temple says no differ for people, but we can pay attention, we can hone this skill, and they are unmistakable. You will feel in those moments, if you tune in, a contracting energy. This might feel like a tightening in your solar plexus or your throat. You might feel an energy drop. You may even feel some pain in your back or your neck, or suddenly you just get kind of tired. That's sort of how I experience my body going, nah, if I kind of get sort of sleepy all of a sudden. Whatever it is for you, I highly recommend that you get very familiar about how your particular body wisdom communicates with you, because it's God. It's love. It's spirit gently nudging you to a greater experience of love, trust, and partnership with the divine. When we say the entire universe has your back, this is what we're talking about. This is a big part of that. Only it's the magnitude of the divine, the wellspring of love, that all-loving universe that lives and exists within you. Remember, this is a panentheistic teaching. We believe that spirit is in, through, and as all things, including in the mystery. This is the part that is in you. Black Elk said, the Holy Land is everywhere. That includes within us. So the next line of this beautiful prayer that I love is, teach me to trust these things so that I may enter my sacred space and love beyond fear. According to the wisdom of the First Nations people, the sacred space is the space between the in-breath and the out-breath. So when you take a deep breath in, if you want to do this with me, there's that moment, there's that hang time before you exhale. Now exhale. There's that hang time right there before you inhale. Now inhale. The sacred space are in those places between the breath. That is considered the sacred space. And paying attention to the space between the inhalation and the exhalation is a meditation technique that has been used for thousands of years. It's the space between the breaths where it is said that we enter back into our egoless, natural state. It's where we forget the illusion that we are separate. And this is found across religious and cultural traditions. In the Quran, it says, God or Allah is closer than my very jugular vein. Lord Tennyson wrote, closer is God than breathing and nearer than hands and feet. This is that. And so when we engage in a practice of mindful breathing, and you can do this anywhere, you can do this in your car, you can be anywhere, and you can say, I'm just going to take a breath. Let's do it. Feel that connection and exhale. Feel that connection. It's at the top and the bottom of the breath. It's constantly circulating throughout. And recognize in that moment that really what that is it is that same love that is breathing us. We are breathing it and it is breathing us. The final line in the Lakota prayer is to walk in balance with the passing of each glorious sun. And all of this is connected. To have harmonious balance in our daily lives, first we must establish order. Dr. Ernest Holmes said, divine order is the first law of heaven. Now, we teach that we are all connected on the seen and unseen sides of life, and that heaven is not a faraway, distant place, but rather it is a state of mind no matter where we are. And we get to create our own kingdom, queendom, or kingdom right here, in whatever way that we put our focus and our energy into doing. So to create divine order in our lives, we must first look compassionately, that's the key word, compassionately, at what is feeling perhaps out of order. So I ask you, where in your life might you not feel like you are on terra firma? Terra firma is the Latin for firm ground. Where do you feel like you might not be on sturdy, solid ground? Where you might not be feeling the strength or the power of Mother Earth beneath your feet? Where might Spirit be calling you to make some adjustments in your life so that the ground beneath you becomes calm and steady? And once again, you feel assurance. Wherever you are in your life, perhaps relationships, finances, work stuff, whatever it is, whatever you may be going through that doesn't feel like it is in order, I want to remind you that it is not in your life to stay, whatever it is. Throughout the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament, the phrase, "it came to pass," happens over and over and over and over and over again. It never says it came to stay, to drive you bananas. No. It comes to pass. And in the process, it grows us if we can wake up to whatever it is. The Ute tribe has a saying, "God gives us each a song." It's hard to sing our song when the ground beneath us feels like it's shaking. And so if this is something that you are moving through, what I want to share with you this morning is, again, throughout these glorious wisdom traditions over millennia, we have been taught that this is a reciprocal universe. This is not just new thought. This is a reciprocal universe, and we are an active part in it. As our feet touch the ground, we are in sacred agreement that the earth nourishes us as we nourish it. So that, my friends, is the divine order. That is balance. That is how we care for ourselves. Our care of the earth is paramount to care of ourselves. And we're seeing right now an extraordinary call, are we not? To pay attention and care for Mother Earth. Yes? So just as terra firma supports us, we must support it. Some of you may have seen that wonderful Indigenous teenager, Autumn Petlier. She's so marvelous. She has been nominated 3 years in a row as the International Children's Award winner for the Peace Prize, and she's doing incredible work within her community in Canada for clear water. And she's doing amazing, amazing things on the macro level, teaching people this idea of reciprocity. As we feed our earth, as we nourish our earth, it feeds us and it nourishes us. We experience that right here in the microcosm of this beautiful, beloved community, New Thought Center for Spiritual Living. As we give what is ours to give, we assure that it's here, that it's solid, that it remains on terra firma, and so that it can give to us. So this is a huge, huge opportunity for us to look in big ways and in small ways of how we can create balance, not only in our bodies, in our spiritual community, in the world. And just know that if you are moving through an area of challenge in your life, I love what Eric Butterworth, the great metaphysical teacher, taught about this. He taught that if you're experiencing a challenge and it feels overwhelming for whatever reason, instead of calling it a problem, call it a project. Who doesn't love a good DIY? Call it a project. I don't know about you, but I can roll up my sleeves and handle a project much easier than trudging through a problem. It's a project. So this week, I invite you to tune in and pay attention to the wisdom of your body temple when it expands into a yes, when it contracts into a no, and allow that to be an ongoing communication that you have with your inner wisdom, with your inner knower, with your inner teacher, with divine spirit within you, and allow it to guide you to create more ease in your life. 2, I invite you to mindfully breathe. We take our breath for granted, don't we? It's the breath of God that we're breathing. So I invite you to bring some awareness into your breath. The top of the breath, there's God. The bottom of the breath, there's spirit. The top of the breath, oh, there's love. The bottom of the breath, oh, there's light. There's abundance. There's grace. You see? And finally, just notice what area in your life, if you have one, that may be calling for a greater sense of divine order, so that you can walk in balance and absolutely know that the passing sun is with you as you live this life of grace and balance on a daily basis. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah.